I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that undercover wasn't really happy for his success. And I'm just waiting. He had walked such a straight line.
Only a man knows what a man needs.
Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
Jim Carrey has just dropped a bombshell about one of Hollywood's biggest stars, Will Smith. Everyone knows Smith's rise to fame was lightning fast, from rapper to megastar. But according to Jim, Will's stardom is not squeaky clean.
Celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating icons. Boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we could come up with.
Behind the red carpets and billion-dollar box office, Jim Carrey hints that Smith's rise was laced with backroom power plays, calculated takedowns, and a level of control that left even A-listers shaken.
For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to distract you, to make you laugh, make you happy and docile, so you don't know what's really going on.
So what has Will been up to? Is he also part of a larger industry power ring? And is Jim right? Let's get into it. Sources say the tension between Will Smith and Jim Carrey has been building for years. It's not just a personality clash, there's more to it. Word is, Will doesn't like how unpredictable Jim can be. While most actors try to play it safe, Jim Carrey doesn't follow the usual Hollywood rules. He's known for calling out the industry's double standards and making bold comments about award shows, which has made some people uncomfortable.
Talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track.
But what really seemed to upset Will? Insiders say it all kicked off after Jim Carrey mocked the 2022 Oscar slap. Carrey openly criticized the Academy for giving Will a standing ovation afterward and even suggested that Hollywood had lost its moral compass. Word is, Will didn't take kindly to being called out like that. The tension only got worse after Carrey's public comments. Some say Will felt blindsided, especially since he thought they had a good relationship before.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse.
And here's where things get even spicier. Rumor has it that back in the 90s, Jim Carrey auditioned for a role that Will Smith really wanted, and Carrey got it. At the time, both were rising stars in Hollywood, so that rejection supposedly hit Will hard. Some insiders say he's been quietly holding a grudge ever since, seeing Jim as a rival who always seems to shine without even trying.
And depression is your body saying, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created.
And now, the hinting that what really gets under Will's skin isn't just Jim's talent, it's his fearlessness. Jim Carrey says and does things most stars wouldn't even think about, and that kind of unpredictability is tough for someone like Will, who works hard to protect his image. Word is, Will worries that if Jim ever decided to spill Hollywood's secrets or dig up old skeletons, it could ruin careers. And that possibility keeps Will on edge.
For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy.
Carrey never holds back when it comes to calling Hollywood out. He slammed the industry for being spineless and losing its edge. According to some insiders, Jim saw the whole Oscar slap incident as proof of something he'd suspected for a while, that Will Smith's rise might be tied to behind-the-scenes moves that helped him climb the ladder. And that, they say, is why he's still being protected. If it weren't for that protection, Carrey believes Will should have been kicked out of the Oscars on the spot for that slap.
You do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words.
Then King pointed out that Chris Rock chose not to involve the authorities in the matter, but Carrey asserted that this decision was solely because the comedian preferred to avoid the trouble.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous.
Jim Carrey has always been the type to say whatever's on his mind. No filter, no sugarcoating. But it seems like he may have crossed a very dangerous line. And let's just say, Big Willie is not laughing.
This is the downsize phase of my life. The first half of my life was gather, gather, gather. And the second half of my life is going to be give.
Now, the question on many people's lips after that was, could this trouble be with Will Smith's alleged protectors? For many people, the reasons behind Chris not filing the lawsuit against Will Smith is connected to the alleged power Will has to do anything he wants in Hollywood. Of course, the claim is that this power was gotten from performing certain activities that you definitely don't want to know about. For a long time, accusations kept flying that Will Smith indulged in certain rituals for power, including activities. We've all heard Jaguar Wright say it herself.
They're both bi. They do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their.
If it were only Jaguar Wright, maybe we can just say it's one of those claims. But as we could see from the clip at the beginning, even someone very close to Will Smith, his former assistant and friend Bilal, has come with even more damning details.
And then I saw that I walked in on.
Who'd you walk in on?
Him and Dwayne Martin.
Okay.
Hollywood is the hurry up and wait game.
Perhaps that's why Jada decided to stay away from him. Just in case you don't know yet, Jada Pinkett Smith recently revealed the difficulties within her marriage to Will Smith. In a preview for an NBC News and Today show special tied to her upcoming memoir, Worthy, the Set It Off star shared that she and Will Smith have been residing apart since 2016, despite maintaining a united front in public appearances. The speculations began to intensify in 2016 due to a well-known incident during the Oscars. In that year, Chris Rock famously roasted Jada Pinkett Smith in his monologue. According to Rock, Jada had approached him to step down from hosting the Oscars that year because her husband, Will Smith, had not received a Best Actor nomination for his role in the film Concussion.
Jada's mad her man, Will, was not nominated. Concussion, I get it. Tell the truth, I get it. You get mad? She said it's not fair.
Back in 2016, both Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith joined many others in boycotting the Oscars over the lack of diversity in the nominations, a protest that gave rise to the hashtag #OscarsSoWhite. But while hosting the ceremony, Chris Rock didn't hold back addressing her boycott of the ceremony. He said, "Jada Pinkett Smith boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited." He also said, "It's not fair that Will was this good and didn't get nominated. It's also not fair that Will was paid $20 million for Wild Wild West." However, Jada had something else to tell. Jada made it clear that the 2016 Oscars incident was resolved through a mutual apology during a phone call. According to her, she later realized the immense pressure Chris Rock must have been under. She was not really recognizing the level of pressure Chris might have been under at the time. "I probably should have called him and gone, 'Hey, are you okay?' And just know that although I'm speaking out about the Oscars, I do wish you the best. And I just want you to know that me taking the time to have called him and said that, just to touch base." But his feelings might have been hurt. Pinkett Smith said that after the 2016 Oscars joke, Rock apologized and I apologized to him as well. "So I actually thought that we were good, that the hatchet was buried between us, and we hadn't talked since then, until 2022 came." Pinkett Smith claimed she also received an apology from Rock after the 2022 Oscars altercation. The whole situation stirred even more public interest when people noticed how quickly apologies were exchanged after the Oscars slap, prompting some to question whether Will Smith's influence was at play. One person online even joked, "If this didn't happen, I wouldn't even know about the Oscars today." That kind of comment reflects how some see Will's power not just in the industry, but in his personal life too. After the 2016 Oscars incident, Jada and Chris Rock had a phone call where they both apologized and seemed to settle things. But behind the scenes, things took an unexpected twist. Around that same time, rumors were flying about Jada and Will possibly heading for divorce. Something Jada says happened nearly every summer. In an interview with People, Jada revealed that during one of those rumor-filled summers, Chris Rock believed the split was real and reached out to ask her on a date. She recalled, "Chris thought that we were getting a divorce, so he called me and basically was like, 'I'd love to take you out.'" Though she believed the issue with Chris had been resolved years ago, that call clearly added another layer of awkwardness to their already complicated history. To which Jada responded with confusion, asking, "What do you mean?" Chris explained, "Aren't you and Will getting a divorce?" Jada clarified that these were just rumors, and there were no divorce plans. Chris was taken aback by the misunderstanding and profusely apologized. However, in that same year, Jada and Will were not residing together, and this revelation has recently come to light, as Jada herself has openly discussed it, fueling the growing speculation that she and Chris were involved in something during that period.
In 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
According to her, she and her husband Will Smith have been leading entirely separate lives since 2016, as revealed in an interview with Hoda Kotb. This high-profile Hollywood couple, who tied the knot in 1997, have previously acknowledged their periods of separation and marital challenges, but never in such explicit terms. While it's not a formal divorce, Pinkett Smith explained to Kotb in a video snippet released on Today that it essentially resembles a divorce in all but the legal paperwork. It was not a divorce on paper, but it was a divorce, host Hoda Kotb said, which Pinkett Smith confirmed. She also revealed they live separately. Pinkett Smith explained why the two never formally announced a separation. "I think just not being ready yet. Still trying to figure out between the two of us how to be in partnership, right? And in regards to how do we present that to people, you know? And we hadn't figured that out." Now fans have swiftly jumped to the conclusion that her separation from Will was linked to her close relationship with Chris, given that she apparently resolved the issue with a simple phone call. One person wrote, "Please don't look to others as couples' goals. You don't know why they got together. You don't know what they go through. You don't know why they left. Just focus on being healthy and having healthy relationships for yourself." Another one added, "This is straight up A. She gets off on dragging Will's name through the mud and won't leave him alone. It's actually disgusting. She is so evil." But the evidence suggests something else, which has apparently nothing to do with Chris. Some sources have suggested that their relationship was shaken because of Will's alleged extramarital affairs with men and women both. Lately, Will Smith has been making headlines because of some surprising claims about his connections with different people throughout his career. These allegations have caught a lot of attention and sparked major conversations. As the saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. Adding to the buzz, Will himself has opened up about wanting to escape from his marriage at times, which has only fueled the curiosity even more.
Yeah.
And we decided...
I was done with your ass.
Yeah, you kicked me to the curb.
I was done with you.
Being part of an unconventional family with a unique marriage is one thing, but it's a whole different story when constant rumors suggest your husband might be involved in secret relationships. That's exactly what's going on in the Smith household right now, and it looks like the lady of the house has chosen to speak up and reveal the truth.
It was not a divorce on paper,
right,
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now.
Will Smith's journey started with the classic comedy drama 6 Degrees of Separation, where he played a charming con artist. The film got a lot of attention when people found out that a kissing scene between Smith and his co-star Anthony Michael Hall was unexpectedly cut from the final version. This led to lots of guesses. Was Will Smith avoiding the kiss on purpose to avoid questions about his own S? These rumors have stuck around for a long time, but the real truth is still unclear.
That Will Smith is bisexual and that they do this, and that.
Furthermore, in a 2020 interview, Will contradicted his earlier statements about not fully immersing himself in the character, asserting that he wholeheartedly embraced the method acting approach for 6 Degrees of Separation.
You train your mind through blocking out Will and only living as the character.
In a recent development, Tisha Campbell has come forward with allegations that Will Smith was involved in extramarital relationships with her former spouse, Dwayne Martin. She took to Instagram to share an image regarding this matter. In her post, Tisha pointed out that the truth always comes out in the end, no matter how many times someone lies. This prompted one of her devotees to reply, "Thank you, even though they lie in the end." In response to this person, Tisha said, "And you're right, they will lie till the end. The real kiki is, people will stop believing them." Tisha's decision to type "Will" in all caps raised suspicions that she might be indirectly referencing Will and Jada in her post. Many quickly assumed that this could imply an alleged affair between Will and Tisha's former spouse, Dwayne Martin, who also happens to be a close friend of the Gemini Man actor. Furthermore, YouTuber Trisha Paytas made allegations against Will Smith, claiming that he intentionally caused harm to her male dancers. She specifically said, "How about worry about your daughter being in bed at 13 with her 20-year-old boyfriend? How about worry about your cheating husband one of my male dancers when they didn't want to?
How about worry about cheating husband my male dancers, when they didn't want to? How about talk about that?"
However, it appears that Will might have been influenced by the path set by his predecessor, Quincy Jones. For those unfamiliar, Quincy Jones is a multi-talented individual who has worked with icons like Frank Sinatra, Aretha Franklin, and the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Yet his fame doesn't stop there. Rumors about his interest in men have circulated for years, and recent developments suggest there might be some truth to those speculations.
My first musical memories were I wanted to be a gangster until I was 11. Coming from Chicago in the 30s.
Recent disclosures have brought to light the possibility that Quincy Jones may not adhere to conventional S orientations. Startling allegations have emerged, suggesting that he wielded influence over the S preferences of notable individuals, including Will Smith and Tupac. These claims hint at his deep involvement within the LGBTQ+ community. Do you remember that unforgettable interview with Tupac? It was a pivotal moment when he revealed the questionable intentions of Quincy Jones.
Yeah, I think these definitely, them rumors about Quincy Jones and all that crazy stuff about Pop was definitely rumors.
Tupac was said to have revealed that Quincy made some inappropriate offers, suggesting certain intimate things. But the story got more complicated. Although the interview about this went viral online, it strangely vanished without a trace. Even Napoleon, who was supposed to be a close friend of Tupac, quickly denied all the rumors and stood up for Quincy Jones when asked about the claims. He immediately shut down all the gossip around it.
Yeah, I think these definitely, them rumors about Quincy Jones and all that crazy stuff about Pac was definitely rumors. Pac was about to marry his daughter.
And if you believe the revelations end there, think again. There are claims circulating that Jada and Will have been organizing unconventional gatherings at their residence, involving much younger men. Jaguar Wright even went on to divulge sensitive information, suggesting that she has witnessed young men leaving their premises in a state of astonishment. Some people think it's totally normal when Will Smith kisses his son Jaden on the cheek, seeing it as just typical dad love. But their bond seems deeper than usual. Will has even been seen kissing Jaden on the lips a few times. While some say it's just innocent love between a dad and his kid, others are starting to feel a bit uneasy. More and more people are wondering if there's something more behind these shows of affection than just a close father-son relationship. The public reaction to Will Smith's affectionate behavior even prompted discomfort among his fans. Many individuals criticized him for seemingly making his son Jaden uneasy by frequently planting kisses on his lips. Despite the growing scrutiny, Will consistently refuted any insinuations of impropriety, maintaining his denial of any discomfort caused to Jaden by these gestures. On this matter, one person commented, "That's disgusting. No one kisses their kids on the mouth like that, especially when the kids are teenagers. I can't believe people are cheering this kind of behavior." Another person wrote, "This is definitely CA, and there is always a negative impact on the child. When adults do certain things, they should try to not just think about themselves alone, but the impact of their actions on their children." There are rumors going around about Will and his wife Jada hosting fancy parties at their home, where younger men are often invited. According to the outspoken Jaguar Wright, these gatherings might involve exploring unusual or non-traditional boundaries. Some people even claim they've seen young men leaving the Smith house looking upset. It's said that their loud, distressing cries can be heard late at night, making these events even more mysterious. It seems like Will Smith's unconventional displays of affection with Jaden might have roots tracing back to none other than the legendary Quincy Jones. This iconic producer, known for his decades-long career and deep ties within the entertainment world, has seen it all. Quincy has never been shy about spilling the tea on some of Hollywood's best-kept secrets, calling out the missteps and hidden sides of celebrities. In a jaw-dropping interview with Vulture, Quincy dropped a bombshell revealing that big names like James Baldwin, Richard Pryor, and Marvin Gaye were queer. And when it came to Marlon Brando, he didn't hold back either. He was the most charming MF you ever met. He'd F anything. Anything. He'd F a mailbox. James Baldwin, Richard Pryor, Marvin Gaye. Moreover, the person making these assertions affirmed that during Tupac's introduction to the Hollywood scene, there were purported rituals and contrived scenarios orchestrated by Quincy, which Tupac was allegedly coerced into partaking in. The individual even substantiated rumors that Quincy had allegedly made advances towards Tupac, attempting to persuade him to engage in intimate activities.
He was by Quincy Jones to him in the when Tupac said no, that's when Tupac was for death. Why? Because Tupac was engaged to Quincy Jones' daughter.
Adding to the allegations concerning Quincy Jones, the deceased actress Alexis Arquette made a claim that Sheree Zampino, Will Smith's former wife, divorced him after reportedly witnessing Will in a compromising situation with another man. She said, "When Jada comes out as gay and her beard husband admits his first marriage ended when she walked into him, servicing his sugar daddy Benny Medina, then I will listen to them," she later clarified in the comments section. First wife, paid off, silent. She being his nevertheless Jada, renowned for her outspoken stance on boycotting the Oscars, chose not to address Alexis's statement at that point. On the contrary, Will refrained from commenting on the accusations, while his first wife, Sheree Zampino, was the one to voice her opinion. She criticized Alexis for her vindictive and hasty comments, asserting that Will is not and has never identified as queer.
Not only is it out of line, it's absolutely not true. And I'm offended and I'm hurt.
At first, many fans thought Sheree's response was pretty intense. Instead of brushing off the accusations as false, she stood her ground, making some people wonder if Alexis's comments had really hit a nerve. On top of that, there have been ongoing rumors over the years suggesting that Jada's S might not be widely known, sparking guesses about a hidden queer identity. In this mix, the close friendship between Will and Dwayne has also sparked talk, with people calling it a bromance and wondering if their bond is deeper than usual.
Am I the only one that saw this? Watch Will. That. As this Will is Carlton on television. Grab again, then the face, and now he's gonna grab his.
This leads us to Will's suspected associate in these claims, Diddy. Similar to Will, Diddy has faced long-standing allegations regarding his S. One facet of these allegations involves a certain circle in his entourage, where he purportedly introduces his young musicians to Portuguese practices, a notion that is particularly unsettling.
Now that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn some.
Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's.
While there hasn't been any direct confirmation about Will Smith's purported S engagement with any of these individuals, the persistent conversations surrounding this subject underscore its notable presence within public discourse. Moreover, Carrey suggested that when he slapped Chris, it was his inner frustration. He said, "The slap came out of nowhere because Will has something going on inside him that's frustrated. I wish him the best. I have nothing against Will Smith. He's done great things, but that was not a good moment." It cast a shadow over everyone's shining moment last night. It was a selfish moment. Carrey revelation attracted the audience, and one of them said, "People assume that a celebrity wife does not know that her husband is gay and that he is on the DL, but I feel that in most cases the wife knows, is gay herself, which then makes an agreement to enter into a lavender marriage for business reasons. For me, Reynolds Lively, Wade Union, Smith Pinkett, Cruz Holmes, Urban Kidman, Jay-Z/Beyonce, etc., etc." Another one added, "It all makes sense because if their marriage has been done for the past 10, 15 years, then him being gay might be a reason why. And she knows she has to protect the bag, so she's definitely not going to say anything during those times. But now she's kind of hinting it because she knows she still wants that bag for the future, so she doesn't want to mess that up." That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.